Thank you for this opportunity. My name is Fred. I am the founding engineer of WeDemo Africa and KicksUp. WeDemo Africa is AI-enabled career development system, and the KicksUp is the talent identity and activation platform for WeDemo Africa. Initially, I had planned to launch WeDemo Africa first. Through it is a Chentam program, a program that seeks to help freelancers build their career capital through psychological readiness, AI validation, and by the end of the day, so that they can build a professional identity that is credible. But then when we started this journey, we realized that freelancers were not really interested in career development. They were interested in discovering opportunities. So what we did, we reversed the whole strategy and launched GigsHelp first so that we can get more users who are interested in opportunities discovered. And then we could take them back to WeDemo Africa where we are doing the career development. So by May 2026, we had actually pivoted because we initially wanted to launch the Achentam program in May, to run May, June, and July so that we can get the feedback and see if people are interested in career development. But then they couldn't get the momentum as we had expected. There was slow adoption from the communities which we had reached out. And at the same time, we tried to hire our support team through the internship program, and most of them could not progress, not because of us being tough on them, but they could not even attempt to submit the second stage of assessment, which we had requested to do. But then since we pivoted and then launched KicksUp in May 2026, around 26th of May, and as of today is on 7th May, we have over 1,200 community members in the GigsUp community channel. And then we have over 145 people who have signed up, who are interested from the community to work with GigsUp. And then we have 8 people who activated their profiles. And one of them actually has completed 2 projects for us, client projects. So that is the findings, and that is what happened since we pivoted. We are available on the internet. Like, we are not in our computers. You can find us here on this platform, the WeDemo Africa. This is the link to it. We have a GigsUp application. Please go this one. Explore this one. It's an AI thing. For those people who are interested in AI, we find it very interesting. How you post your project, then you ask for AI suggestions, and then AI will take the pool of freelancers and then rank it against your project, and then you will select the best. Of course, if you have doubts, you can reach out to us to do more verification for you if these people can be able to deliver. This is our community. We are growing every day. And then we have a YouTube channel where we post all our information which is important to the public as we are building as a community. And then, of course, you can find us on Facebook, and then of course in TikTok. I think in TikTok and Facebook we have searched from Cool, so you can find some of the things which we are doing, and then you will get updates. Also, you will be learning a lot. So please don't miss. Go and check it. This is a very interesting question. What do you mean to building GigsUp and WeDemo Africa? This thing didn't start overnight. I intentionally switched my careers from teaching into online hustles around 2019, but it's something which I've been doing from campus. The first time I tried to freelance was in 2015. I tried copywriting. I didn't understand anything about copywriting. Nobody could guide me. But then when I was trying it was hard. I got so many revisions from the person who gave me the task. So I went into streets and then tried to become a tout at online. Then after that one, I got some opportunities here and there. We're exploring still online space. We tried that M-Pesa thing. Then we came to SpotPesa. We went to public lights. Then I ended up on Bitcoins immediately after I left campus. After my graduation, I went and taught at Katian Boys for, I think, 6 months. And then I came back again to online stuff. So I started doing Bitcoins. I did Bitcoin for 1 year and I was able to get enough money to try business. And that time I remember I opened Cybertain and Intern Solutions. Then I opened a workstation for Rave. an Amazon mechanical task. That's how I got back again into freelancing as a task this time. So I did tasking for like 3 months, and I felt like this is not something which I can do for so long. So what I did, I opened the workstation and employed like 3 people to transcribe for me, and some of them to work on my Amazon mechanical task account that time. But then while I was doing it, I realized so many things. Like I was using bots, proxies, and other software tools to solve most of my problems, and they were becoming more expensive. So at that time I was 26 years, and I felt like I'm just young. I just left campus the other day. So the best thing which I can do is maybe to learn about software engineering. I have since decided now I'm not going to teach in high school. The best thing which I can do is to learn these skills as early as now. And that is how I went back to learn about tech. So the first thing which I did, I went to Berlin Institute in Nairobi and learned about computers and mobile phone repair, to come and had it as a service in my Cyber 10, internet and assorted solutions. I did that one. And then while I was providing those services at Cyber 10, I became more interested in computers. And out of that interest, a lot of Google ads were revolving around software engineering development. And that is how I went to Cisco to learn about Python and Census for 3 months. I tried that thing because of lack of structure, guidance. It became difficult. It overwhelmed me, and I dropped it. So around in December, I got an opportunity to join HLX Africa program in 2022 to learn that software engineering. And that software engineering, remember that time it was under the Old Pattern School US, and they were piloting here in Africa. And it was tough for someone who is coming from arts background now to software engineering, because then it means like I had to learn by day some of the basics which computer science students learn in campus. Then at night, I could join these guys when they're out of campus so that we could do group discussions and projects together. So I did that one for 13 months. And then I came out as a software developer and started freelancing as a software developer. Now, no longer as a tasker. But then that time I was running my side hustles of tasking alongside, but there were a lot of challenges, so many challenges, including restrictions of the accounts, lack of access to those platforms, the proxies, and the automation tools. And then I was here. So I wanted to build my own softwares. But something has happened. I applied to West Africa because they were giving an opportunity for someone to go and build solutions to problems. And then I applied for that program on a competitive basis. I was awarded a scholarship to go and start in Accra, Ghana for 1 year. So that is how I found myself in Accra for 1 year to learn about building startups. So when I go to Accra, I had an opportunity to learn about software development, now solidifying what I'd learned practically at HLX Africa. Then I was about business development and, of course, marketing communication for 1 year. And I graduated out of that one after trying 2 startups that failed. The most importantly, Podly and Tuma, which failed in Kenya. So in Tuma, we were trying to build an AI-driven coach that could help startup founders learn how to do elevator pitches and communicate. And we launched that one like 1 week earlier before ChatGPT came with ChatGPT voice. And remember what we were selling? Coaching. And that coaching, how was it happening? Interactions with an AI. So when OpenAI launched ChatGPT voice, we couldn't continue to push our startup. So it failed. So then later on, we pivoted into a fintech company known as Tuma that was trying to help in payments, cross-border payments. We were trying to help end users be able to easily pay for products which they pay or which they buy from other countries using a local fiat. Like if you are Kenyan, you want to buy from a Ghanaian and you want to pay in cities, you just use Tuma to Tuma will convert for you the stable coins. It will take your fiat currency, then convert it to USDC, and then convert it again to the CDs. So that's what we were doing, and we were using Stellar Foundation protocol, the Soroban and XML. But it failed. It didn't fail because it was a bad idea. It failed because of other factors, which of course, if I find time someday, I will share with you what it means for you to build a startup, right from co-founding, go-to-market strategy, program, and all those things. We will do them with time. So that is some of the things which I tried to do. And when we came back to Kenya with Tuma, it failed. And what could I do next? Because since when you're building startups, there is no money. Startups are not businesses where you're making money. And then you really, of course, need to keep going. So I went back into freelancing, which I had been doing for a minute. And this time I was lucky enough to find some of the people who I had left in local Bitcoins. They had transisted from local Bitcoins into freelancing on Fiverr, Upwork, and AI platforms. And because I had gained more skills, which were actually important to some of them, they told me, okay, man, let's get back into this thing now and scale it. We are going to make money out of it. That is how I built Main Gigs App and Freelancing Operations Hub, where we have automated most of the work which we used to do manually. And we have made it helpful for us to scale. But then when we were trying to scale, we experienced another challenge. We could get projects from clients at scale, but then when we look for people who can deliver quality, we don't find. Big challenge. And like when I was doing at the workstations that time, scaling was not in my mind and sustainability was not. What I was interested in is transactions man and here and there. But this time, people had grown and they wanted actually to scale. And then on scaling, they're finding a challenge. Finding people who can deliver quality. People who have skills, people know what they do. So that is a challenge which we experienced. And that is how I decided now to build this tool. How I build this tool. Don't worry, I will take you through that one. I think in subsequent questions, this one will be answered. So keep tuned. I will tell you how I arrived at building GigsApp and WeDemo Africa at the same time. It's a question which is very common. Like, why do I think like I'm the right person to build this one? And the simplest language is because I am in it. I'm in this game and I've been in this game. I didn't just come from somewhere and do research and then come tell you like these are the findings and these are the things, these are things are happening on the ground. I've been in this game from it. I've already given you an overview of how I arrived here. So I started as a tasker. And after tasking that I'm running those workstations in other accounts. Then I went to ALX Africa, learned about software engineering knowledge, and of course I built the skills around it. Then I freelanced shortly before I went to West Africa, where I learned about software startup building. And after doing this, I came back and I am building this thing. When I want to tell you the journey, even when I was doing it before I went to Ghana, is that most of the things which I've learned in software, engineering, freelancing, all those things, I have done them through try and error. I already told you like how I started. I went to Cisco and tried to learn Python and C on my own. It failed. What came to rescue me? ALX Africa. And what did it give me? Structure. And on freelancing bit of it, which we have been doing for the longest time, most of the things which I've learned in freelancing, I didn't learn them through reading. I learned them through trial and error. There's no theory here. I believe I'm among the first generation of digital workers from Africa. And you guys know like what we normally call as freelancing in Africa is academic writing. Something which was being done between 2009 and I think in 2015 before it completely got challenged in 2021 when AI came in. So the things which I've learned and the way the things have been evolving over time, I have been learning these things through experience. experiences. And something which I can tell you confidently is that me as a tasker, I realized that it was not something which I was building. And by the end of the day, I will grow out of it. Because tasking involved has completing those transcriptions, and that's all. I get money, that's cool. That's all. There's nothing which I was doing. And most of the things which we used to do that one under academic writing and then transcription, and of course some of the tasks which we do today are the things which will be automated with time. And I can make a claim here confidently that even the AI data annotations which we are doing right now, there will become strong companies which will be able to train AI models. Like maybe cloud can start to say, like, if you have this kind of tasks, how AI is going to be able to do it, or will be able to do it. And then it means like the opportunities which we are seeing right now may reduce over time. And then where are you going to go? Because you've been doing data annotations for the longest time. What have you been doing? What have you built out of that data annotations? Those are some of the questions which I asked myself when I was a tasker and a transcription, of course, and writing those work systems, where I was struggling with managing small teams, managing the geographical restrictions, the proxies, the payment structures, and all those challenges which I was experiencing as a task at that time. So when I came back from Accra and realized that they said the challenges which we are experiencing, we cannot be able to get people who can be able to deliver quality. I did the research and I've already shared with you, and we confirmed that the challenge was not career development. The challenge was opportunities discovery. But then, how are you going to get these people and then take them through the career preparedness for these opportunities, or what we call psychological preparedness for them to be ready to deliver this product? Because the challenge is not lack of technical skills or skills. It is the readiness for them to do what you want them to. This is another interesting question. How I use AI. See guys, life is very interesting every day. And every day I wake up, I come to the groups and update you. I came to that channel, do audio clips, share it with you. For those people who are not interested in reading, they can listen. For those who are interested in reading, I give you the copy. And then I give you the image. All those things I do them using AI. So in the morning when I wake up, I just check on our WhatsApps, how they performed, our TikTok and Facebook. Then out of that one, I make an audio clip. And when I'm making that audio clip, I'm also recording, transcribing it on OpenAI's ChatGPT directly. And then I take that information, then post it on cloud and ask it to give me the best banner. Here is my brand. And then it does that one. So after I've done that one, then I will check on onboarding, who have onboarded, who have not onboarded, and then those who have almost completing, I send them an email to remind them that this is what is remaining. Then by the end of the day, I use Casa and Cloud to do new shifts. I shield new features, fix errors, and all challenges which we experience. And AI is something which has actually helped me move forward. It has cut, like, if I was to build WeDemo and GitHub, it could have taken me 7 years. But I'm sure that it has taken me less than 3 years, or it will take me less than 3 years to complete everything and have it available for you. Already, it's available to you. But then, as we keep on learning every day, growing every day, and then we realize new challenges, and those challenges are being faced by the AI through my guidance as someone who understands some prompt engineering. You get it right? Yeah. So, what's the thing that I do exceptionally well? I execute. You're listening to me. You have had an idea. Probably an idea like WeDemo or GitHub. But now the difference is that we are different. Sometimes most of us see obstacles before we see opportunities. And you see, when you see obstacles before you see opportunities, then it means like you will never move out of the idea stage. You will always remain on the idea stage. What I have learned over time being in startups is that the difference between you and someone who has done something is the execution speed. How are you moving? So in time I have an idea. I have so many ideas, but I've decided to party so many ideas because I can't execute everything. But then I chose like, okay, for these two, which I understand, I'm within the game, then I'm going to work with these ones. And that is what I do. Every day I wake up, I have to tick things. You have to tick, say this one I've done. Whatever will come out of it, that's none of my business. I've done this one, I've ticked it and I've documented it because it's very important that you document things. If you don't document, how are you going to tell people? And people only want to say things. It's the same thing with like, there is a struggle, there is the journey, and then there is success. You know, people are going to look at success. If you don't succeed, nobody will know that you did something. But if you will succeed, people will say success. But then when you are building startups like this ones, you are not sure if you will succeed or not. Because startups, you know, they are 99% of them are bound to die. But then it's a very important thing for you to document what you are doing so that the people will be coming with better ways of executing. If you don't succeed, can look at what you tried to do and say like, if you take this direction, this is what happened when someone tried to take it. So I document every day. And I was telling one of us that I don't document so that I can get maybe a validation that you do this and that you've done. No. I document it because I document it as a journey and lessons which people will learn later on in life. So that is the difference between me. And then another thing which you need to know is that I am very flexible. I learn every day. Remember when we were trying to do the launching of WeDemo Africa and it failed? And there were like, what can we do next? Right? So what I normally do is that if I learn, I adapt quickly and move to the next thing. So that's the difference. Something which we did not. We are not going to pin ourselves to something which has failed to work for us. So there's another question which I often may receive from people. Like, what is the problem and what's it? We may be complaining of so many things like we are discriminated as a global south and so many things. But the reality is that as the global south, we cannot be complaining that the United States of America or another developed countries are not allowing us to access the opportunities. Because we are supposed to create our own opportunities. As a country, we are supposed to create it. But then like, what is the challenge do we have? And the challenge which we have for us actually to access some of those overflowing opportunities from those countries, if they cannot be able to get enough human resource to solve their problem, one of the things which we have to present to them as an organizing team is the credibility of that, the credibility of our capabilities that we are able to do these things. But then practically, personally, as someone who is in the space and from Africa, I have experienced that challenge of whereby we cannot be able to get someone who can credibly deliver quality. So the biggest challenge which we have right now is credibility. Because if we are credible enough, we can be able to validate what we are capable of and then present ourselves as a professional attendant. We can be able to negotiate for those opportunities. And I can promise you that if we learn right now what it takes for you to be ready to create value, then by the end of the day, besides us chasing the global opportunities, we are able to create value even here at home. We can be able to solve our own problems. Because people or anyone who is interested in digital economy, you need to learn that nobody's hiring you based on your credentials, that you went to university. No. People are hiring you because you can be able to solve their own problems. So the problem which we have, the first one, one of the bits of the problems which we have is credibility gap. And that the credibility gap, we can achieve it through organizing ourselves and going through some of the frameworks which have been proven to help you learn through to be able to create value. And at WeDemo Africa, we are doing exactly that one. That's why we say, like, we are not starting with skills. We start with mindset shift. We start with psychological readiness. And how are we doing it? We take you through the contextual analysis for you to understand that you are from Africa. You're from the global south, and these are the challenges which you're likely to experience when you're trying to explore opportunities in digital economy. And once we take you through the contextual analysis, then we take you through the prescriptive action. Like, what does it take you to be able to be ready for these global opportunities? We teach you that you need now to change your mindset from being passionate about to creating value. Craftsman mindset, whereby you can be able to identify opportunities, identify problems, and be able to solve those problems, because by the end of the day, when you solve problems, you are going to be paid for it. So that is the problem which we are trying to solve. Another thing which we also having a challenge with is the marketplace ecosystem challenges. We know Upwork, we know Fiverr, we know other platforms, and the challenges which we are trying to experience them. Apart from getting restrictions, we also experience discrimination from where we come from, because we are not organized. There are no structures around supporting freelancing. So besides us preparing to compete on those platforms, which is competitive, and we do it here, we run one of the programs around platforms. We are building Gigs Up as the identity layer of our African talent, and we are going to use it to present ourselves as a talent from Africa, organized and capable of doing this and that. That's another thing which we are doing. That's where we are building Gigs Up, the whole thing which we are discussing about. Another thing is, of course, compliance and, of course, reputational issues. And that one, Gigs Up, we solve them. Payment is being dealt with people who are within the fintech, and we are resolving that one. Payment is not a big thing, because those are the things we have been doing in a small scale, individuals. But like when we come together and build Gigs Up community, we will add the payment layer on it, and we can be able to process our payments easily from the global opportunities which we will be getting. So the problem is within the people who have graduated from whatever institutions. We know that we have good institutions in Africa. People are capable to build their technical skills and software skills. People can be able to build rare and valuable skills through those institutions. And we can't be having an issue with skills. The issue which we have is the things which I've mentioned. And the people who are greatly affected are African graduates or another global south country, if it resonates with them, because I'm speaking from my own experience from Africa. So the people who have this problem are African graduates. I think this one answers the question. Now, let me move now to the next thing which we're working on. So this is another question. What can be done about this problem now that could not be done for 2 years? In one line I can say that it is the AI. Because in the last 2 years, I've been in programs, different programs, training people, digital programs. Some of you have been to a Jira program. You have taken your own initiative to go on to Coursera or another learning platforms. You have acquired that knowledge. So, and people of the governments, the private institutions are doing the same thing, trying to help people gain digital skills so that they can be able to freelance. But once they do that one, they stop at digital skills. And we have categorically said that the problem is not technical software skills. The problem is that readiness for these opportunities. So in the last 3 years, if I wanted to do what we are doing right now at WeDemo Africa, taking people through the contextual analysis to be aware about the circumstances they are in, and then taking them through prescriptive action whereby they will run about career capital frameworks and then prepare psychologically on how to approach these global opportunities. If we could have done 3 years ago, it means like we needed so many coaches who could take us through this program for people to be able to realize this thing. But right now with AI at WeDemo Africa, the AI takes you through the contextual analysis, prescriptive action, and then it validates your journey. And then if there is a need for human touch, we plug that human touch into it through the mentors, the freelance advocates, the community trainers, the community mentors, to take you practical, like these are the things which you really need to do if need be. But then we organize sessions and webinars around it to help you actually know these things through some cohort-based sessions. So AI is doing more of these ones. We don't need human. We don't need human in our pipeline to be able to achieve what we want. So that is what has changed between now and the last 2 to 3 years before AI actually came in. And the good thing is that you have me. I first tried to build my first startup in 2024, earlier 2024, AI, that was trying to coach people now to do elevator pitches for the investors. And since then, I've been learning so many things. AI has improved, things have evolved, and we are going to do it perfect through the authentic AI. And if we find opportunities where we can be able to build completely AI native WeDemo African Gigs App, we'll be good to do it. And I'm ready for it to lead it. So those are the things which we could not do 2 years ago, but right now we are going to do them either way, going forward. Then let me skip that down and where does the answer most likely lie? And I'm interested in the direction which we are taking. The direction we are taking right now is that we are going to take people through the psychological readiness using some of the proven career capital building frameworks. And then once we do that one, we mentor people using AI, validate their journeys, and by the end of the day, we are going to welcome them to our talent identity and professional layer, Gigs Hub. Once we get these people here, then we will be having an opportunity to actually take these people through what has been happening more through tasking as an African, skill-based freelancing, and then building systems. And if we have all these sort of people in one platform, because I believe that freelancing is a vehicle, it's not the destination. You go to freelancing as a tasker, even particularly when you are in college, while you are building your skills. You task while building skills. Then after you have built skills, you come and freelance as a skill-based freelancer. And then if you are good enough in your hiring, then you decide to open your agents because you understand the game. So it's a growth journey. And we are here to guide you. So if we have all these sorts of people, taskers, skill-based freelancers, and of course, system level thinkers, then we can be able to confidently talk on your behalf. We can confidently negotiate for global opportunities. We can say we have a talent from Africa and we are a Gigs Hub, and this is what we do. This is the people who we have. We have verified these people. And then we will do away with all the problems which we have. Credibility gap solved by WeDemo Africa. Market access ecosystem. We have our Gigs Hub to help us bargain for those opportunities. Payment structures. We have different payment gateways right now supporting us to receive payments. And remember what? If we are going to be organized good enough, then we can be able to even open those LLCs in US or UK and be able to receive our payments from the people who will be skewering our talent. And so many benefits which we are going to get. I believe that there will be now people who will be joining me this year, and we are going to build this one together as Gigs Hub and WeDemo Africa ecosystem. And among the first people, I welcome you to come and join us. Let's build together, and let's build something which is going to last for centuries and which is going to be inclusive across the globe. Thank you.